Fucking Blackwater! Oh, fucking KEMET!
Something for something, that's how they gon' play it. I ran through the trenches and got on a mission. Know how I lay it, you cock it, I spread it. Come to them commas, I shoot with precision. Yo, homies is ignorant, grown ass bitches, bound to get y'all head cracked. Me and my Nina get busy Latinas, they love me, they know that I'm staying strapped. Hop in the skirts, walking the earth, cause a nigga like me put his bread first. Fuck all them physics, they running and swimming for pussy as long as they legs work. Nigga like me don't know no slack, get your ass up, man. Money the motive, my niggas is oldest. It's time for lows to fuck the game. Niggas pimp hoes, hoes pimp niggas too. Either way, let's fleet the coupe. Bitch, I'm a Big Mac, switch hoes, mix match handsome. Nigga don't need no proof. Niggas pimp hoes, hoes pimp niggas too. Either way, let's fleet the coupe. Bitch, I'm a Big Mac, switch hoes, mix match handsome. Nigga don't need no proof. Shake, jump, shake, jump, shake, jump. Goddamn, shake.
Set the tone. Yeah. Fresh new year, fresh night, yeah. Walk with a bop like I really don't care. I don't care. Blows the shit, scorching, I'm lit. In the plain white tee, got immaculate drip. Cut from a different cloth like I'm shopping at Kip.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. I go by Kash, aka Exec P. This is episode 197. Welcome back once again. If you're a first-time listener, welcome. If you're back again, if you're one of our Patreon supporters, salute to you. Thanks for supporting the movement and everything we do. As you know, I love doing these interviews with underground artists, man. That's what this podcast has become. I always talk about music, sports, and entertainment, but lately ain't been no sports or entertainment. It's been all music, man, and that's near and dear to my heart, man. This next guest for episode 197, man, I can't take credit for finding them. Shout out to my man Ruben, man, once again for just shooting me his info, man. And from there, I just took a chance on listening to it, and I was highly impressed. Episode 197, we got KEMET, man, Jackson, Mississippi. You know, the modern day Marvin here, the pastime man, Mr. Easily in your top 10. What else he say? Mississippi's finest, man. Welcome to the couch for the first time. KEMET, man. What's going on, man?
Man, what's up? What's up? I appreciate you for having me, man. Shout out Ruben too.
For sure, man. How you feeling, man? How you feeling, man? I mean, it's been not even a full month since the project's been dropped, man. How you feeling with the response to it so far?
Man, I'm feeling so good about it. It was a big step, you know, from my first project. So it's grace to the Most High, man. I'm excited for this year for sure. I'm real excited.
All right, man. So let's get through the pleasantries, man. You know, as I told the people, you from Jackson, Mississippi, man. Kind of how'd you get your start? I know this is your second project, so you're relatively young in your career, but I'm pretty sure you've been doing it for quite some time, man. Give the people a little bit of your background.
For sure. I was born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. Always went back and forth from Jackson to, you know, Memphis, Tennessee. That's my second home, I say. Moved to Chicago when I was about 11. 11, 12. So, you know, I had a good transition as far as like location goes. But as far as starting rap, I always knew I wanted to do it. You know, I just didn't feel like I had the voice for it until I got older. So I really been doing it maybe since I was about 14, 13, I believe, but I started taking it serious when I was 18. So, you know, a lot of life experience in that. So I've been doing it for a good bit now, I would say 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, damn, 5 years, man, and you already sounded very polished, man. I went back to your first project, man, and then I wanted to just kind of see where you came from. Mainly was listening to the most current project, Got Drunk for the Most High. Interesting title, man. How did you come up with that title?
Oh, man. So every time I do a project, I read books all the time. So before I work or write another project, I make sure I read whatever, you know, catches my eye, my interest at the time. So was reading, I think, the Etta James biography, Rage. So I was reading that one, and I was, you know, studying gospel music. Matter of fact, 70s gospel music, I was listening to a lot of that. And I was listening to a sermon that was like probably like an interlude for the project. And I heard the preacher say, you know, when I was 14, I got drunk for the Lord. And I'm like, man, what does he mean by that? you know? And he went deeper into the meaning for it. And it was a long winded sermon, I'm not gonna lie. But just coming up with titles that I feel like could fit, what I'm going for, what, I was going through in my life at the time, or it could be a pull from the past, honestly. And just went from there. So just a lot of studying that got me to that title for sure.
Yeah, now it's coming together as I'm listening to it and what you're saying, man. The most civilized spirit intro, man, like that. I mean, I got drunk for God end up being more of a Achilles heel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
With lines like that, man, you came off very strong to begin with, but about minute 40-ish, minute 47, shit got a little bit different in terms of just the beat switch and shit like that, to where that's where you have my attention from the very beginning. Was that very intentional for people to grab their attention off the get-go?
yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna say that was the outro at first. Um, Manny Meggs produced that. Shout out Manny Meggs, by the way. I wouldn't even, man, honestly, I wouldn't say it was too intentional. It was actually just like the universe, because he made the beat and it was just like that. I think Gutty, who he engineered, mixed and mastered the whole project, put it to an SP404, and it did. It does what it does. But man, I write my ass off, and I just was like, okay, yeah, outro. Matter of fact, nah, intro, and we just went from there.
Yeah, because it definitely got a little bit more intense in what you were saying, and it kind of you meant a lot of what you said. I could hear the conviction in your voice, man, and that's definitely a strong way to start off a project. Again, going from your last project just in 2021, if I'm reading it correctly here when I was looking at it, that's a instrumental, step up in terms of just quality, mix quality, and all that. Was that some of the stuff you was going for as you kind of got into this project and leveling up your sound?
Yes, sir, for sure. I would say, really, with my love is crack. I just had met Jewel, Mike, and Gutty, which my team basically. I would say, um, and just trying to get something out. Basically, I was working on my love is crack for a good bit. I would say, and just trying to get a body of work out. And I recorded that all in my apartment that I was living in at the time. So I didn't get into a studio until Got Drunk for the Most I was being recorded. I never had been in a studio, so all that was done at home. And I'm like, okay, from now on, I'm only gonna record everything in the studio, and that's just what it is. The quality has to be there. We got to get the quality there. We got to get the sound there. My Love is Crack was just me showing I could rap on loops and samples. You feel me? So it was definitely in the plan since we dropped My Love is Crack that we was gonna just up it and just keep doing it, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, you talked about getting up to the studio. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine. I have a home studio here. I'm not sure if I told you. I make music as well and do a bunch of other things. You know what I mean? I know you got to be a do it all type of person when you're independent artist, right? How What's your preference? Going to the studio or creating at the crib?
So I would say maybe it's a normal or common process, but I feel like it's kind of weird because most artists that I know, they just get to go to the studio whenever they please. So I flew to New York to record this project. So that was all a process in itself. But what I usually do, I write, I demo here, and I just redo everything and add on in the studio. I would I would prefer, as far as the creating and the writing goes, in my own, like, and on my throne, in my domain. You feel me? And I just go put that out in the studio just for quality purpose, the servicing of that. So I definitely would rather do it at home, somewhere, temple. It could be anywhere, but I would rather be alone doing it.
All right, alone. So I got my next question. I was gonna say, how do you like to create a bunch of people around, or just in your own element? That's interesting to see. Some people want the vibes. Me personally, I just need to be alone with my thoughts, man, because a lot of my music personally means something to me. So I want to get into feeling. I saw a quote on an article that gave you high praise about, King of the South, and they were putting a lot of, they was putting a lot on you, man. I was like, that's a lot to bear, man. That's a lot to bear. How did you feel about that being like one of the opening lines in that article in terms of how they felt about the project, man.
Man, shout out Swede, shout out Norn, shout out Mally. Um, Before, honestly, man, when I met all of my Texas homies or just my new homies through music, they would have been saying it. I've never said it myself. I don't think I'll be that type of guy, especially right now. But hearing my even my homies say it, like y'all, they really show love. They really support me, and I really believe when they say that they mean it. I don't think they would just say it for no reason. And people knowing me, I go hard for the shit. I go hard for the South, like real hard. It feel good, man. It's like we barely scratching the surface as well. So that's what makes it feel even better for me because we got a long, long, long way to go. So to hear that from like close peers and supporters, I love that, man.
For sure. Who are some of your influences from Mississippi? I mean, we off cam we were talking a little bit about Big Crit, being from the SIP, and just who's some of your influences from the state, man, that you rock with? I know David Banner.
Yeah. Uh, Really them too. Crit, David Banner. I mean Rick Ross. He's from Mississippi. I would say him. I don't know if you know this far back. We talking 100 years back, but Robert Johnson. I don't know if a lot of people know him, but he's a blues artist. They say he's probably the best blues artist of all time, but that's back in like the 1920s, man. But I study. I go back, man. I go back, way back, clearly, and he has been a big influence on me lately, for sure, for sure. Blues music overall.
What makes you a student of the game? And not a lot of guys your age typically want to go back and do the research. Even I won't even say that, man. I say a lot of young guys are kind of doing it, but for the most part, I don't see it as much. It's probably half and half. I would say to most of the young cats that I rock with that are making the type of music that you're making, which is conscious, is funky, and all those different things, and entertaining. What makes you become a student of the game to study the past in order to do what you do now?
I feel like that's, especially starting out, that's like a super key. I gotta pay my homage. You feel me? No matter where they from, what era. I study the '70s a lot, man. I study the '70s the most, honestly. I feel like I've done the rap enough, maybe just a little bit, but I always it depends on where I'm at and what I want to do next. So I got every time I'm about to write a project or whatever I'm doing, I make sure I go study. I make sure I gotta pay my homage. I make sure I pinpoint exactly what I want, whether it was from Aretha Franklin or it was from Raekwon. It could be from anywhere. I pinpoint what I want to try to modernize myself and learn from it and create my own thing for sure. It's my process of just being an artist, honestly.
Sure. How important is it for you to have these themes? So far, the project you're dropping one ties into the other, not necessarily same stories, but a growth in your story. What makes you um, want to stick to the theme based albums? They're loosely based, in terms of sticking to a theme. I could say it's like a good day in the life, man. That's what I get from your music. But what makes you stick to these themes and absolutely nail it in both efforts with this your first project and now your latest project?
Being vulnerable, man. Reflecting on stuff that I've been through, stuff I could be currently going through. I just have to be. I don't. I feel like in order to touch other people, souls or whatever, in whichever way I may do it, you gotta put it all out there. Some people look at it like it's a little difficult. Yeah, it can be for sure, but it helps people. And I didn't think it would. Honestly, I didn't think it would help people like it is even now at this point in my career. But that's real important to me to make sure that I'm I'm being 100% genuinely authentic me. It's no other way I can go about it. So with that being said, it's like I feel like that's really why it hits home for a lot of people and even myself because I'm putting it all out there. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm not putting on the facade. It's like I'm being no skipping. You feel me?
Yeah. And I like the way the project flows. was it the team's decision on flow? Because I think that it came at a point to where you had the soul on the intro, and then you get right to it with the bounce. When we're talking about songs like such as Brown Money and Shake Joint, like those joints out the gate are like they grab your attention from the get go. So before I ask my next question, I want people to hear Brown Money, like, and just so that they could get some more buy-in, man. Let's pull up Brown Money real quick for him.
Gang bang.
We roll the dice while they play shice, man. Lows, dose in this motherfucker. Dropped out, never gave a damn about the safer route. Told that bitch I can't love you no more than my bank account. Hell no, gotta stay on point when that pressure call. Brian Money, I just wanna see all of my dogs ball. Dropped out, never gave a damn about the safer route. Told that bitch I can't love you no more than my bank account. Hell no, gotta stay on point when that pressure call. Brian Money, I just wanna see all of my dogs ball. Niggas is drunk, thinking they fucking with me. Say, man, what up? I been the one, wake 'em up if they been sleep. Lost on the creek, coming up mad, sawed off shot, bucking they ass. Niggas is different, but no, not to diss it. Don't give a fuck if you finna or a sixer. Oh, you a killer? Please, nigga. Couldn't even walk in my jeans, nigga. I must confess, all regret. Spinning my way is like Russian roulette. Say what it was, said it in slugs. Turned to an angel for playing a thug. I cannot feel what I do not will. God is my witness, so fuck the judge. Dropped out, never gave a damn about the safer route.
That's Brown Money, man. Y'all go check out the project. Got Drunk for the Most High, man. So I know y'all feeling that. Like that one's undeniable, man. One of the first things that jumped out to me with your music was just flow patterns and just constantly switching it up each and every time, man. What do you credit that to, man? With really honing in on the delivery.
Really, every beat I write to or every beat I'm on, I only write structure to that beat. I never just have an open, verse nowhere. So when I hear a beat, I make sure I write to it specifically. And I can credit mainly for this project, Tommy Wright III, straight out of Memphis, a legend, Princess Loco, Project Pat for sure. I study a lot of their flows. It's a lot of underground 90s Memphis that people got to get up on even today. But I would definitely give, like, as far as switching the flows or the tripling flows, the pocket flows, be big to Tommy Wright III, like the Memphis sound. And another one is Biggie for sure. So I would say those are the ones.
Okay, all right. Dang, that's wide ranging, man. From Memphis sounds to Biggie presence. Okay, you doing your homework, man. You got a believer in me, man. I'm from Brooklyn, so there you have it, man. That's too easy, man. So back to flying to New York, man, to record this album, man. What who are you working with in New York, man? Are you doing some other connections with other artists, or is it just you wanted to get out of Texas and kind of just go to the city to record?
My team, they all live in New York, New Jersey area, which is right there. They just figured, it's best I went to New York because they knew a studio, they were familiar with the studio, and I wanted to, get out and see stuff while I was working, So it was cool to see and, just be in that environment and just record the whole project in a matter of 5 days. It was like, it was so fun, man. It really just made me more excited for the future, honestly. So definitely went to New York because it was the best decision to make. As far as artists in New York go, not too many I can say that I have, worked with yet. Really focused on working with a lot of Southern artists right now. Connected with them.
I just want to get back to the cohesiveness of the project and kind of from top to bottom. I want to go back to that question. Is that a collective thing that you guys are doing together with planning out the vibes from coming out with high energy up into more of the personal side of you?
No, the only thing that we all decided on was Brian Money being the second track because we felt like okay, we did More Civilized Spirit, which I did. It did intensify as the song went on, but we wanted to just keep the energy high. And really, I kind of regret doing Brown Money and Shake Joint back to back, especially as a leading singles. But I was like, I think a lot about the sequencing, like the cohesion with other projects. So I was like, gotta do it. Like we just gotta do it. So it's a lesson learned. But as far as after Brown Money, everything else was just me, just finding it out that way right there in the studio. We did it. So
Okay. All right. So why'd you think that you made a mistake with those two back to back? Again, I think it was good, man, in terms of just for a new listener finding it.
see, that's where I was okay with it because I was like, we do have people that do listen, but I actually care about new listeners and people that are actually album listeners. A lot of people I feel like aren't really album listeners after the first time they listen. You know? Yeah, like it's like, okay, I'm gonna listen to it one time, I'm gonna have my favorites, then I probably find some new favorites. That's really how it goes because the attention span now is like very little. You feel me? So that's just how it goes. So I'll definitely like studying once again, man, studying my favorite artists that I look up to or idolize, how they sequence out their albums. I always made sure like this transition was crazy, this instrumentation was crazy, and I just pay attention to all of that and just keep it in my mind for my own stuff. So uh, sequencing is getting easy for me. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it's my second project, but it's so fun just going through that overthinking and going through that stressful thinking and all that because it all becomes worth it in the end. You feel me? So all those. We got Manny Meg starting it off. He got a few on there. We got Limo. We got Texaco. We got Poor Vita. We got Cuff God. We got Gutty. Um, we got John on there. We got Dakota Carly for instrumentation. We got Crybaby. We got B. Ali. Um, I hope I'm not missing nobody. I think that's everybody. Yup. That's all of them.
Yep, yep. One
Teron Clark. I'm sorry. Hold on. Teron Clark. That's my brother. That's like my right hand man. Teron Clark is the last one. Yeah.
for sure, for sure. I mean, all your features kill, man. Some of them are on here even in twice. But I really like I think it was Cara Crosby. You know how you guys play off of each other with you even taking it to a certain point of a little bit of a sing-songy flow. Playing with her, man. So how is that growth from one project to another? You dabbled in the first project a little bit, but this sounds a lot more polished in terms of your melodic stance on things, man. Was that something that you really had to kind of hone in on this project?
Yeah, I definitely did because I knew. Matter of fact, slamming was made before I dropped my love is crack, and that's like the main song I'm singing on, honestly. But I knew if I wanted to sing or even do more melodic, music, I would have to be in a more, studious environment. So I had to definitely be in the studio for sure, especially if I wanted to sound as good as it does, as far as the mixing and mastering, and that's gonna grow for sure. So I knew I wanted to make a project that had different sounds that I actually wanted to do, not just loops or samples. You feel me? I wanted to make a Los Kemet sound. You feel me? I didn't want it to be possibly boring to somebody or even myself. Mainly myself, because I wanted to build on my southern sound. Just digging deep into my southern roots. And Cara, that's my dog. That was, we all, of course, she was in London and I was down here when we did that. But being in the studio together and working on it together and the ideas we had for Mud Moonshine, like it was fun and we definitely gonna build on that for sure. I want her on every project.
Yo, y'all sound really good together, man. So
Thank you, thank you.
that's dope that it's even being done from different places to where it sounds like y'all were in the same place, man. So the name, man, I just glossed right over that, man. What is the meaning of your rap name?
I've been getting this question a lot the past 2 weeks, man. I ain't gonna lie. I I didn't got a lot of that, man, because I knew it was gonna eventually happen, not this soon, but I knew it was gonna happen. So my original name was just Los. But it was hard to find Los. Just looking it up, you get a bunch of bands and everything. Now I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. I am not speaking on the Kemetic religion. I'm not. I'm not a. I'm not trying to get into the religion talk. I just get this question a lot. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not. Kimite. I'm not none of that. I'm really my name. I'm happy that I love this question based off further plans for myself and my people. Um, the original defining meaning of what that is, besides what we see in the conscious community and stuff. I wanted to do something apart from that, the base meaning, the root meaning of that word. Um, and really, instead of me just, going on a whole rant or, explanation about it, I just want to just show like what my dying wishes are with attached to that name. It's really close to me now for sure. So, um, what I can say, man, is just the betterment of me, my family, and my community overall, and on another scale that maybe not everybody would think of. So
Let's talk about the betterment of family and community, man. In terms of what motivates you to continue to do what you do, to get better at this music thing and progress. You know what I mean? I'm always interested to hear what artists what motivates them to go in the studio, because this is a lot of your life you put on the line, especially if you're one of those artists that really hint at a lot of personal things that you go through in your music, which you do.
mm, um, I'm a very big family man. I'm really family oriented. Excuse me. Everything I do, man, like the music, what I want to get into the filming, every single thing I do, I make sure I'm doing it, to make sure that my family is well off and the well being of my family. It's no other reason. There's no other reason, honestly. Not even I could say too much for myself, but I wanna I wanna touch people's souls and help them as best I can. But I'm not in it for the extras. I'm in it to make sure that my nephew, my sister, my kids, when I have them, are good and healthy as can be, happy as can be, just good. And after that, or during that process, making sure that I go back home and I could clean up my home and healing my home and different communities around the country, around the world, eventually, if I can. Uh, that's my whole mission. I'm a very selfless person. I'm a very loving person. And I do have my flaws, like we all do. I do have my mistakes, and of course, that just comes with being here, being alive, being a human being. So I can't really put it no other way but just giving back and just truly building something that could be tangible for my family and my people. That's what we need, and that's what I want to head on take care of, eventually in my career.
Cool, cool. I want to stay on the feeling piece, because I had that question earlier and I don't want to lose track of it. In that article, it spoke on you kind of saying if people don't feel it, you don't want to do it. If I'm summing it up right in terms of the music, why is the feeling so important uh, in your music to gain fans? Why do you focus so much on that?
Oh, I think you're talking about the I cannot feel what I do not will. Yeah, I cannot feel what I do not will. I would say more so that that's a personal preference in a way. I'm sure other people feel that way, but as far as making sure I touch the feelings of other people is because you, if we stand on the surface of the music or just rap or hip hop, which I enjoy that too. Um, when you touch the feeling or a certain spot in a listener or a fan, a possible fan, that's gonna stick with them forever. You feel me? They gonna latch on to you forever. And Marvin Gaye, that's my favorite artist. I'm sure everybody know that now. He definitely said that he wants to make the music that can touch people's souls, whether it's like love, intimacy, world, social issues. The reason why he's who he is and why Prince and Mike are who they are is because they touch somebody's soul in a way that made them fall in love with that artist or their artistry. So I feel like that's real important, and I make my music because of that, and at the same time, it's because it's my feelings. Like we all have different feelings. I'm just making them into different types of songs. You feel me? So if if you do that, I feel like it's easier to catch a fan and keep a fan, and you be endearing, your music, not even me, because I'm not perfect at all, but your music being endearing to their heart, and what they could be going through.
All right. Let's stay here a little bit longer. As far as rappers, there's certain rappers that give me that emotion every single time. Off the top of my head, I could think Scarface. This can't be life. That verse, you know, that he spit on this can't be life. Or that was probably one of my favorite verses from him. Besides stuff on his solo projects, of course, but that sticks out as something that I can recite right now. Another guy that sticks out to me, that I'll tell everybody, Beanie Siegel is another guy that is a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion in his music. And I can kind of go on. What are some rappers that give you that feel whenever you're riding around of nostalgia and just they hit the mark every single time when we're talking about feeling?
Scarface is my goat, man. That's my goat. So him, of course, uh, grew up off him. It's my pop's favorite rapper. So yeah, he's my great, all time. 3K is one of those. Crit is one of those. Kendrick Cole. Yeah, it really the basics. I would say as far as now. Um, Let me think. It's somebody that not too many people could or would say. Uh, I want to say Herb. G Herbo, that's what they're known as. He's also one of those as well for me. So when you were late to what somebody's saying, and it's certain things that people say like, okay, yeah, they legit. They mean what they saying because only it's like one of those if you know type bars or verses, like you said. No, but Scarface 3K, I would say definitely my leading two as far as rappers go would be them.
Yeah, for me it don't matter too either, man. Like I've never been in the streets, probably from it, but never been in it. You know what I mean? In terms of doing street shit. But like I love that shit when it feels authentic, when it sounds authentic, especially way before social media. Expose some guys that I no longer like as much because you know.
Hey, but look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I forgot this man. I'm so sad that I did. Boosie. He be doing it
Yeah,
too,
that's one of the ones.
but man, look,
I love but he real. He real. Like you can't.
I grew up Boosie. We would dead ass be in out on the block or the street as kids arguing who the best rapper. We was arguing that Boosie was the best rapper against Wayne. Like we was going hard for
I
Boosie.
remember I
Right.
remember these conversations with some of my homies from the South where Boosie would come up, and I remember being rather young New Yorker, like, yo, who the hell, like, who's Boosie? Like, but they would be playing them till like crazy hours of the night, you know what I'm saying? That
Dang.
other chopped and screw music. So I got after I came into
Oh.
the military, I got real indoctrinated into Southern music. My intro for real was, the Cash Moneys and the No Limits of the world. But once I got down south, then I got into the Boosies and all the other
Yeah.
the guys that you had to be around to know. So
Mhm.
what Boosie's doing now with the Vlad stuff and all the weird stuff with T.I., I can't condone it. I can't condone it.
T.I. T.I.'s one of them too. My favorite rappers, like growing up, my first one was Andre. My second one was 50. Then it was T.I. And it was Boosie and Wayne. Like all mainly Southern, but 50 was he was like the most last longer favorite rapper of mine for sure. So
Have you heard the new Wayne single?
no, not yet, not yet. I've been so out the loop, man. I'm gonna get into it though. I always make sure I make my rounds for sure.
Oh, he sound like Wayne again, man. Get to that, man. Get to that, man. So I see you got the some of the merch behind you, man, with the recent videos and stuff like that, man. Who's the creative genius behind that, man?
Right here, man. Right here. Um, Me and my manager Mike, we talk a lot about when I do this, do that. I'm like, man, you know what? I wanna, since the name of the project is "Got Drunk for the Most High," I want I want to study, like I studied a lot of commercials, like liquor commercials and ads. I actually have Jet magazines with the Hennessy ads and everything in it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
I can use this. I just started up, and Mike did them. He edited them and he made them, and I went to go print them out. And I love details, man, and my visuals and everything. I make sure I'm real detailed about all of that for sure.
Yeah, man, that's one of the things I'm struggling with, man. The time to do it, man. But when it comes off, your videos are very. They don't have a whole lot going on so far. The two that I watched three of them, but two in particular for this project I watched, and I was like, small little things that you're doing to where it's more your performance, and then you'll highlight the merch for the project or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I like what he's doing, keeping it simple, not going too over the top, but it's effective, man. So shouts
Yeah,
out to you for that, man.
thank you,
Are
thank you,
you
thank you.
No problem, man. No problem. Are you doing any other things besides the directing? Are you? I know you said you go to the studio. Do you mix and master? Do you make beats? What other things are you kind of blessed with besides the music making?
Honestly, man, I don't make beats. Now, fun like a little fun fact though. When I was 13, I got Mixcraft, and I was making beats. I made a whole project of making beats. I don't know how I was making them. I was just making dings and then drums and all that, and I did a whole project as a 13-year-old doing it. And I never went back. I never tried. I want to get back. Not. I can't play any instruments, man. I definitely want to learn. Really, right now it's just the filmmaking, the directing, the writing, the storyboard, the treatments, and the music. I'm getting more into learning the marketing and the promo things and stuff like that. But I'm gonna get into that bag again. I'm gonna get there because I want to be elite. I want to be like the Bron of it. So I can do a little bit of everything. But I do a little. I try to mix and match the best I can for my demos. But that's pretty much it.
Okay, yeah, because you got to ride around to it to see if you feel it enough to even take it to the studio. So I get that whole
Mhm.
part. I get that whole part. What are some things that you're looking forward to for the rest of the year, and doing, whether that be shows, whether that be another EP, whether that be collaborations? What are some other things that you got, hard plan, and things that you're hoping to do?
Um, yeah, I definitely want to. I'm going to drop two more projects this year, an EP and another full project to end out the year because I didn't drop any project at all last year, and I was very like a little devastated. Felt tragic about that. Um, Better the visuals, not even just better, but more visuals. Make sure I'm it's no breaks at all. I'm just full throttle, gas on the pedal. Shows. Um, with shows, it's like I definitely wanted my team to be called for me to do shows. I don't necessarily try to call and try to do the pay to play thing. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Um, so that's just whatever the universe brings me. I'll go anywhere to do a show. I don't care where it's at, when it is. Call me. I'm gonna be there. Um, But as far as that, all my focus on is pushing Got Drunk for the Most High, putting it in ears, putting it in different areas, lounges, possibly clubs and other big plans for that we have in store. But for sure, what I want to say is two more projects this year. For sure, two more.
Oh man, definitely look into the live band, man. I don't see enough rappers doing it out, like out the gate. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to get on stage, but I think what separates, and maybe that's lofty goals for myself, man. But I think having a live band, man, is nothing like it, man. I don't, but that's just me, man.
That's no like if I could do that today, if I get a live band and just record or do live versions of my love scrap any song, of course, that I've done. Hell yeah, I want to do that. I enjoy, honestly, in my opinion, a lot of live music is better than recorded music for sure. For shit, sure it is. So, Mac Miller, he's one of my favorite artists. Rest in peace. I actually became a fan of his because of his live album that he dropped. Like that's what called me. But I listened to like Aretha live albums, Sam Cooke. I listen to a lot of live albums, man, and they are. And sometimes they put you there. Luther Vandross is another good live singer. I will always listen to. So, um,
I still
I
listen to the
want
J
to.
Unplugged. I still listen to the J Unplugged, Lauryn Hill Unplugged. So those are dope things, man. I like the Tiny Desk approach that I've seen some
Yeah,
people do. You know what I mean? Where they just play live. So it's a lot of different ways, man. So with that said, man, I see you got the Hawks jersey on and stuff like that. By chance, are you a basketball fan? I mean, you got Brian
yes, I
money,
am. Yes,
but
I am.
but Hawks fan.
I'm a Hawks fan. I'm a Hawks fan. Brian is our GOAT. It's my generation GOAT. So of course I gotta do Brian money, but when it comes down to it, I'm definitely a diehard Hawks fan. Growing up in Mississippi, you can't choose too many teams. We ain't got a team. So you got Atlanta, you got the Grizzlies, or you got, at the time it was the Hornets or the Pelicans. I'm like, I'm gonna just go with Atlanta because Josh Smith now. So Hawks fan, Falcons fan, Ohio State Buckeye fan, for sure. Let that be Die hard with that.
All right, man. So hopefully Snyder could get you guys right, man, because y'all ain't been doing right all year, man. Collection of talent,
Hold on.
just
Hold on.
go,
Hold
just
on. Wait,
go,
wait, wait.
just down the drain, man. Trey don't want to listen. He got the big head now. You know what I mean?
Hey, don't tell me you
Oh, it's a further east, man. I'm a Knicks fan through and through, man. So yes, sir, yes, sir. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't.
no wonder why you talking like that. Ain't no wonder why you talking
Yeah,
like
man,
that,
he
man.
be kicking our ass when he comes to the Garden, man. But he ain't do it this year though, so I'm cool with that, man. But
Hey, y'all looking good over there. I hope we see y'all in the playoffs. I hope we see y'all in the playoffs.
man, look, man, I'm getting to. I'm not used to good things. I'm not used to nice things. I'm still getting used to this type of stuff, man. So I'm just gonna be chill. I'm not gonna talk shit about
Hey,
the Knicks. I'm just gonna let it
you
happen. I'm just gonna let it happen. You know what I mean? I'll be sure to
okay?
hit you in the DM when we do beat
For
y'all.
sure. Okay, okay. I like that. You a real Knicks fan now.
Yeah,
Okay,
yo,
I
oh
like
yeah,
that. One.
through and through, man. You know what I mean? I like punishment, man. Pause. You know what I mean?
You been through it all. You done been through the
Oh yeah,
turmoil. You been
man. It's
through
been a
the
long
mud.
time, man. Yeah, we ain't won significant since my teenage years, and that's a very long time ago, man. So
Hey,
it is what it
Melo is
is,
my
man.
favorite player. He's my favorite player though, all
Man,
time.
oh man, we gotta talk more. Melo's always been my favorite player up until he kind of got up there in age, man. But yeah, he definitely one of my guys, man. I always vouch for him
So,
and had a Braun until it came painfully clear that he's not what
yeah,
Braun is.
you
But
you had the rookie year. You got the rookie
that
year, and that was
he should have been rookie of the year. He should have for
yeah,
sure been rookie of the year. He went to the playoffs.
yeah.
I'll tell people that until the cows come home, man. Like he got robbed. He got robbed. They wanted LeBron to give him the throne right away, man. He had time. Could have gave Melo the
Man,
rookie of the year, man.
for sure, man.
For
For sure.
sure, man. Well, man, look, man, I just want to say, man, from me to you, man, I'm proud of what you're doing, man. You putting out quality music. It it works on all levels, whether you're talking about the spitters, whether you're talking about people who like albums, conceptual albums. I think you're hitting it on all levels. Shouts out to your team, everybody that's kind of working with you, man, because it's sounding really good, man. And I'm looking forward to whatever you drop next. Like I always tell people that come on, man, if you enjoyed your time here, you're always welcome back. to talk about another project or to just come on and kick it during the playoffs. Should we meet? You know what I mean? And in the playoffs, we definitely could come kick it. Definitely could come kick it, man. So just take the people out, man. Let them know where they can find you on Instagram, Twitter, merch, wherever you want to send them in terms of your music, man. I'll let you take us out.
For sure. First off, I want to appreciate you for having me, man, and listening to the project thoroughly. Like, I appreciate it more than you'll ever know, bro. So I want to thank you for even having me on here today. Instagram, 5.Los, you can find me. Twitter, Los DTJ, and TikTok, Dirty South Artery. That's Dirty South Artery, ARTERY. And stream got drunk for the most high, man. Stream it till you can't stream it no more. Send it to your pops, your mom, your cousin, anybody you can. Just give it a listen. I really appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yo, he forgot to tell y'all, go buy that shit. Go buy that shit. That's what he forgot to tell y'all.
Hey, look. It's tax season. It's tax season. I know y'all got y'all taxes, man. Go buy 2 of them things. You right on me. It's tax season.
Are you on Bandcamp? Or you on Bandcamp or anything like that?
Not yet. Coming soon, though. Coming soon.
Okay. I definitely like to promote Bandcamp or whatever you're doing with your own website to get it direct to you, man. I'll be damned if you keep giving it to everybody else percentages, man. So for sure, man, definitely get that Bandcamp up and running, or that website, so you can get all that money that you're gonna earn, man. So Los, nice meeting you, brother, man. More power to you in 2023, man. I'll be a fan. I'll be following, man, and I'll be reaching out very, very soon, man, for whatever else we may need from you, man. So I'm sure you'll probably be back here soon.
For sure. Hit me anytime. I got you. Appreciate you.
All right. This is episode 197. We out. Set the tone.
Yeah.
Fresh new year, fresh night, walk with a bop like I really don't care. I don't care. Blows the shit, scorching, I'm lit in the plain white tee. Got a knack.